On April 8, 2026, prominent opposition leaders including former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, and other key figures staged a significant protest at the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC headquarters in Abuja. The demonstration, dubbed Occupy INEC, represents a critical moment in Nigeria's democratic process, highlighting deep tensions between the opposition coalition and the electoral body over the recognition of the African Democratic Congress ADC leadership. The African Democratic Congress has been embroiled in an internal leadership dispute that has escalated into a constitutional and electoral crisis. The conflict centers on the succession of party leadership following the resignation of Ralph Nwosu from the position of national chairman. After Nwosu's resignation, David Mark, the former Senate president and a prominent political figure, emerged as a new national chairman through a process that was observed by INEC officials. However, this decision was contested by Nafiu Bala, the former national vice chairman, who argued that according to the party's constitution, he should have automatically assumed the leadership role. Court proceedings and status quo order, the disputes escalated to the Federal High Court, where both factions presented their cases. The Mark-led faction subsequently filed an interlocutory appeal at the Court of Appeal, seeking to overturn an unfavorable ruling. However, the Court of Appeal dismissed this appeal and issued a critical directive. All parties involved in the suits were ordered to maintain status quo ante bellum, a Latin legal term meaning the state of things before the conflict. This order was intended to preserve the situation pending the determination of the substantive case at the Federal High Court. However, the interpretation of this order has become the central point of contention between INEC and the opposition. The Independent National Electoral Commission interpreted the Court of Appeal status quo ante bellum order as requiring a return to the state before Ralph Nwosu's resignation. Under this interpretation, INEC concluded that neither the Mark-led faction nor the Bala-led faction could be recognized as the legitimate leadership of the ADC. Consequently, INEC suspended the recognition of both factions, effectively recognizing the party's leadership until the Federal High Court resolved the substantive matter. INEC chairperson Josh Amupita, a professor, explained the Commission's petition, stating that the court order requires all parties to maintain status quo ante bellum to prevent rendering the trial court proceedings nugatory, void, or ineffective. The opposition's counter-arguments. The Mark-led ADC faction and allied opposition leader vehemently rejected INEC's interpretation, arguing that the Commission had willfully misinterpreted the court order and was acting in contempt of court. The opposition presented several key arguments. Misinterpretation of legal order. The protester contended that status quo ante bellum should be interpreted as maintaining the status quo as it existed when the case was filed, not reverting to a pre-resignation state. Partisan bias. The opposition accused INEC of siding with the ruling All Progressive Congress APC to destabilize the opposition and prevent the ADC from fielding candidates in the 2027 elections. Blocking opposition participation. The protesters argued that the recognition was a strategic move to exclude the ADC from the 2027 presidential and legislative elections. The broader political context. The 2027 election, the ADC protest must be understood within the context of Nigeria's 2027 presidential elections. The opposition has been fragmented across multiple parties, PDP, LP, NNPP, ADC, with each fielding separate candidates in 2023. A current show of unity suggests that opposition leaders are exploring mechanisms for consolidation, whether through merger, coalition, or joint candidacy arrangement. The resolution of this crisis will significantly influence opposition confidence in the electoral process and the broader trajectory of Nigeria's democratic development. Thank you for joining this analysis and breakdown. I'll see you in the next. Stay blessed.